Hey, what's up guys? We're here in Backyard Gym and we've had a few of our guys get caught up this week on anterior shoulder pain. So we've exposed the front of the shoulder joint. It's a little tweak, it's a little pinchiness, basically an annoyance. I don't know if it's in an overhead pressing position, I don't know if it's bench. Now the main thing that we were just discussing with Hayley is that when we expose people to CrossFit, we're after different planes of motion that you usually haven't been getting into. Now that's a good thing because we're now exposing where those weaknesses are. We've got to make sure we're warming up the system. So we're going to run through quick warm-up. This is sort of our global shoulder warm-up. It's not going to be specific for every shoulder injury, every shoulder issue, but this is basically our activation we like to use whenever we're using this system. And then we're going to look at some ins and outs of mobility pieces, looking at Hayley's shoulders in particular. Again, we're not going to be really attacking particular weaknesses. That's going to be, you need to talk to me about that, but these are global issues. So number one with the shoulder, just quick run through. What we always want to think about is just a wave of contract, relax, until you feel change. This is our joint capsule mobilisation before our workout. This is our warm-up piece. So number one, we like the wind up, elbow in high. This is really good for our front rack position for front squats as well. Winding up that elbow, and everybody's got a problem with fighting the band. Don't fight it, don't pull against it, just relax and set back in. We want everything over the back turned off so we can hunt for those corners, basically through the back of the rotator cuff into the lat and really start hunting out there. Contract for 5, relax, turn off for 5, hunt for those corners until we start to feel some change. Number two, spinning around. Now we're going to bias that external rotation in the shoulder joint because we want it set back and in. This is where we need to be for bench, this is where we need to be for pull-ups, etc. We're going to bias that external rotation with palm to the sky. Every time, whenever we're on a band, palm to the sky, I can then really wind that up with the other hand, sitting back and in, and as we see for the camera's sake on that side, hunting after those corners through the lower scap and into the lats as well. Sitting back, hips back, not pulling on the band again. Let that start to gap the shoulder and we're going to hunt through there. Number two, while we're still from there, winding over. This is a little bit like, remember when everyone used to do the shoulder stretch before bench? A little bit like that, but we've got the distraction of the band. Winding up there, again, I'm biasing the wrist, turning my weight away and really finding that back corner of the shoulder. That's that piece. Final piece as well. Good thing with this, if you're with somebody else, Hayley and I could both be using a band together and just attached at either end. It's basically our turn away to open up that top corner of the pec into the anterior delt. So when we're angry from benching or whatever else, that's the corner we're starting to hunt after. Tight through the midsection, tight diaphragm, letting that stretch and then tear away. A few little oscillations, contract, relax in and out of there. Now, the other thing we need to think about is restoring the sliding surfaces of those tissues. So a lot of the time, if we're tacked down across the top of the trap, across the delt head, we're going to be experiencing more issues in there. So next piece, stand on the band, wind up over there. A lot of the time we find athletes got a bit of junkiness around the end of the collarbone there. We're just going to get a series of pumps. We want to move vertically out the side laterally. That's pretty cool, but we can start to feel that tearing and shearing away to get through that range of motion so we're finishing overhead in the right position. So that's our shoulder warm-up. Next piece. This would be our mobility homework. So if we come over and look at Hayley's system, we can see with Hayley's shoulders, this is a problem a lot of people have. Although Hayley, we've worked a lot on thoracic positioning, so she's got the ability to get back and up here, the shoulder's still indented and rolled in a little bit. So that position for her to get end range of motion overhead here, we're not in end range of motion. There's no end range of motion-ish. We're there or we're not. So Hayley's going to experience a problem where if she's moving back in this plane or overhead in this plane, we're loading up the anterior shoulder a lot, so we need her to get set back and in. So this would be a homework piece to start to stretch that out. Hayley, we're going to do fan on the back. Boom, getting down. So what we want to do is we want to position the hands behind the athlete, If we're starting lower back, that's easy. If we, over time, start coming up here, we want to get into a complete fan position right up here in the thoracic spine. But that's where we're going to start with Hayley. We're going to lie down on the ground. Now, Hayley's going to position her hands through there, plant her feet on the ground, stay strong through the hips and butt, wind them up. So from here, with the super friend, we can bias the shoulder by setting them, oh my God, back and into the ground. Now, if you need to slide your hands further down to get the shoulders back, this is the point. We want shoulders back and on the ground. We can bias from there. Then Hayley can slowly start to lower herself down to the ground until we feel the stretch. Yeah, we're pretty loaded up there. Now, we want to camp out here for 2 or 3 minutes and really focus on our deep breathing diaphragmatically so we can start to relax those tissues and turn things back off again. Now, if you're really hurting, we'll get back out of there and then we get back in. This is a really easy one to do in front of the TV for as much as 10 or 15 minutes. We can see jump up pals. Once we're down there and we set up, shoulders back into the ground, really hunting end range of motion, hips all the way down. Once I'm there, okay, shoulders are still pinned back, but I can start to relax everything through the back so we can just focus on what's happening through the system here. So again, that's our post piece, that's our afterwards. And then the other one from there will be actual soft tissue work on the anterior delt. We got Supernova for this. If you've got lacrosse ball, tennis ball, we want something firm. We can see Supernova is pretty firm, but work in as you will to attack the tissue directly. So all of our guys who've got those tweaks on the front, let's start to tear that tissue open. Again, why we're there and why that's happened is going to be a separate conversation. Are we tight in the lats? Are we weak through the rotator cuff? Whatever the story is, that's another piece. This is addressing the hot issue straight up. So, ball on the ground. I can apply my own weight and pressure directly to the side over the top and really start to work on just peeling that tissue open. If it is end range back, I can get a bit of a back pump through there. Otherwise, I can even bring it back into the pec a little bit and really screw and rotate that ball into the site. Now again, this is 2 to 3 minutes on that until we start to feel some change. So think about those pieces. We want the warm-up every time, attacking the shoulders, getting that set. Let's start to feel loose. Let's test those end range of motion. Then homework pieces, angel back sit and applying pressure directly to the delt. Do your homework, get it done.